What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, you may see me not running, but a very fast walk because I'm already running late. And you may have already seen my barrel video of a bourbon pairing with some meal and also some of the products. Now, this is going to be a Sazerac pairing. I don't know what they have because, as you know, Sazerac is very wide-ranging, wide-reaching. So it could be some Pappy, it could be some Weller, it could be some E.H. Taylor. We don't know yet. But I'm running late, so let's get in here and see what I got. All right, guys, so we made it, and I misread the time. I'm actually really early. But with that, we can do a little scavenging, see what we can get. They have a little bit of things out already, so let's take a look. So here we have some Rockhill Farms, Elmer T. Lee single barrel, have Weller Gold right here. We also have the Mash Bill number 2 lineup. So with this, you can kind of see everything they have here. Give you guys a chance to look at it. But then also what the pairings of today are going to be. So this is a 5-course meal, mash bill recipes. All in all, we're in for a real treat. Now, nobody's really here yet, so I'm kind of just talking to myself. And it's a pretty empty room. But as people start filling in and of course start being served, I'll be back to you guys. But with that, let me know in the comment section down below what I should be excited for, because some of these bottles I've never had. This is what we can expect. These are the hors d'oeuvres, the soup, paired with Blanton's Manhattan, just regular Blantons with bacon wrapped shrimp. I love me some shrimp. I love seafood. Barrel aged Blantons with the salad. We have main course with Elmer T. Lee. Then we have dessert with Rockhill Farms. So I'm excited. I am excited. Thank you.
So part of the idea behind this dinner was getting to taste all the way through a singular mash bill and seeing the differences in the proof, where the barrels come from affects the flavor. So as you all are sampled on whiskeys throughout the night, we're going to be pouring them into the Blanton glass in front of you. Just on the fancy little tulip-shaped glass. As you are enjoying your little sample, if you would like to save some and compare it on down the line, in front of you there's a series of empty shot glasses, all of which will have names and flavor profiles listed under them. So that way, if you want to save some of the Blanton's Gold and maybe compare it against the standard Blantons, give you the opportunity to save a little bit of it and see how they all taste next to each other. Also, there are little goblets with water droppers on the table. A lot of times with whiskey, especially once you're getting into barrel proof or anything much over 100 proof in general, the higher alcohol content can sometimes distract from some of the flavors that you can experience. So as you're going, if something's just a little bit too hot for you, or you just take a sniff and all that you can taste or all that you can smell is paint stripper, just take that dropper, add a little bit, not too much, just a couple of drops to drop the proof down a little bit and open it up. But that way you guys can actually enjoy all the whiskeys. Just some of them, specifically like the Blanton's from the barrel and the Blanton's Gold, are both very high proof, so I would recommend definitely opening them up just a little bit sooner.
So what we have this evening is the mash bill number 2, and I brought what are called whiskey trees that are right in front of you. You're welcome to pick those up and take a look at them. Buffalo Trace is known to have 4 different mash bills. So a mash bill essentially is just a recipe. So think about you've got bread, you're making bread. You have your main dry ingredients. So if you're making cornbread, you've got corn, you've got wheat, maybe you're making a pumpernickel rye bread, maybe you're making something a little spicy. So you have your main grain, then you're adding water and yeast to make it rise, a little bit of sugar in there to eat up that yeast and make it a little bit rise. But what do? We stop it when it's bread, right? Carry on that fermentation process by letting the sugar start eating up those yeast, and you're letting it ferment. Now we have whiskey. So really there's no other difference in the way that we are making our whiskey than what we would be doing to make a bread. So that is what we're talking about when we're talking about mash bills. So different breads have different recipes, different mash bills also have different recipes. And at the Four Roses Distillery, like I said, we have 4 different mash bills. We're exploring mash bill number 2. The exact amount of the mash bill recipe is not, it's not for public consumption, right? And so they don't have a ledger, but people kind of guess between 12 to 15% rise. So we say it's a high rye mash bill. And when you talk about rye, think about when you eat like a wheat berry bread, and you have that wheat berry bread and you have those nutty flavors and a little bit of sweetness, and you're going to make your peanut butter jelly sandwich with it. Well, in turn, when you have a rye, think about with your rye, you're going to make your Reuben, and it's going to be a little bit spicier, and it's going to be a little bolder and more full body, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about that 12 to 15% rye in there that's going to add a little bit of the complexity. The nice thing with this is when you're using this mash bill number 2 with a little bit of that complexity, a little bit of the rye, it's going to make a fantastic cocktail. Because you're essentially mixing it a little bit of spiciness, a little it's going to give your cocktail that little bit of a kick, right? So Buffalo Trace received its name from the buffalo, the American bison or buffalo, that roamed through that area of northern Kentucky all the way down to the very northern Kentucky, a little bit edge of Tennessee. Those bison are no longer part of the natural wildlife that was thank you there. The nice thing that we do have, though, is that we were able to find some small little distilleries that just happened to pop up in the area. And the best distilleries, the ones that were really gung-ho and kept partying, were the distilleries that were next to a good natural water source. So depending on where your water source is and the quality of the water is really going to dictate and help with the quality of your spirit. Because what we're mixing into, you can't start a good bourbon without good water, right? The first distillery remnants that were found there were in 1856. A small but operable distillery was found on the site of where later, in 1870, a gentleman by the name of Colonel E.H. Taylor, which we may or may not be familiar with.
Yes.
He ended up purchasing that distillery and founded the Full Fighter Copper Distillery, which is now known as OFC. And if you have the pleasure of visiting Buffalo Trace, please make sure you check out Bourbon Pompeii. It is worth the visit. It is worth the time to see that. And by 1897, so we're looking at just a few years later, 27 years later from the original founding, a 16-year-old boy by the name of Albert E. Blanton came to work as the shop boy, like the office boy. So he was running errands, doing things in and out, and just all around the bourbon and the distillery. So we're going to take a little break here, and just like Jay mentioned, we're going to have pours. All the pours are going to be in front of you. We'll talk a little bit more about the Kentucky Chew, how to taste, how to kind of compare a little bit. So I would definitely urge you not to pour all of your bourbon into your Glencairn, but kind of taste it, and then we'll walk through a couple of things and then really savor the rest. All right, cheers. So the food should be up shortly.
Half-ounce pours, guys. Check these out. I'm going for that William LaRue. That's what I'm going for. All right, guys. So this is our first course. This is going to be our hors d'oeuvre. And this will be a caramelized onion and goat cheese puff pastry. Now we're going to pair that with the barrel-aged Manhattan that I may or may not have already drank. I'm going to try to get another one. That's pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of goat cheese, but that's fire. I like it. I'm gonna wait for the other one to pair that with the Manhattan to see if it makes a difference. But just by itself, solid. Thank you.
That's good sweet for my cheater box.
Well, I spoke too soon. They topped us off. Okay. Ooh, nice. See if it makes a difference. Okay. The difference I see is that with the drink pairing, it amplifies the flavor because my taste buds are fried from the barrel-aged bourbon. So this is going to be a straight from the barrel Manhattan, and pairing those two together, the goat cheese with the bourbon and the caramelized onions and the puff, it's solid, man. So what I said before with this by itself, it's good. It's a good appetizer. But with them together, it really amplifies that flavor It kind of like helps you to identify, I won't say each note, that's kind of exaggeratory, but you can definitely taste the difference. I'll say that. I'm a fan. I'm really excited to try that with the soup. We have butternut squash next. Let's wait and see. All right, guys, so we have course 2 here. Now, we're still working with the barrel strength or barrel aged Blanton's Manhattans. I'll give you guys a tour of the menu again. So we are right here, course 2. The glare is in my eyes. There it is. Butternut squash. And here it is. We're going to try this regular, and then we're going to try it with a sip of barrel aged Blanton's. Let's do it. No, you're good. You can talk.
This is
Yeah.
second talk.
Yeah, you're good. You go ahead.
Don't talk. I'm talking to all his people.
Well, I'm talking to myself right now, guys. You're lucky I care about you guys. All right, guys. So now let's try this with the barrel aged Manhattan. Now, by itself, that butternut squash is fire. It's kind of creamy. I'm a big soup guy. Lobster bisque is my all-time favorite. If you have lobster bisque or you have a great lobster bisque recipe, let me know. But lobster bisque is my favorite.
That's a good neck. We've had 3 companies, and the last one was acquired by private equity.
Same situation, I'll say. It kind of, I won't say it beats your taste buds down, but it really numbs them with the high proof. But then you can taste the flavors more intensely. So just take everything that you feel, everything you taste with these dishes and amplify them times 3. Because that's how I feel when I try the barrel-aged Manhattan with the butternut squash and with the puff pastry. Same situation. I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying this pairing so far. The next one is going to be the appetizer, which is the bacon wrapped shrimp, and I'm a huge seafood fan. We got an announcement, guys. The next pour is Blanton's regular. Now, Blanton's is one of the most controversial bourbons in the market because some people love it, some people hate it, and for some reason, we just can't agree that Blanton's is a good bourbon, but sometimes very overpriced. So now, let's see if it pairs well with bacon wrapped shrimp.
1 hour later.
Oh my gosh, I was not recording this whole time.
Alright, so this beautiful Blanton's that we have right in front of us, it is marked at 93 proof. The tasting note is off of the website. If anybody's been on there, everything says oak. Because guess what? All of them taste like oak, right? But you're also going to get some notes of citrus. And so this is where I was going to talk to you about. We're just going a little bit of time here, kind of tasting through this bourbon, and I promise the rest of the spiels will be quite shorter so you can enjoy. But I feel like this is really fun, right? So if everybody's got their glass right in front of them, what we're going to do is you're going to smell your whiskey. We're going to put it in the palm of our hand, right? And this is where we're going to do something a little bit different.
Okay, let's figure this out.
Do the same thing. We're going to squish it together really good. And you're going to feel your hands start to get a little bit thicker. That's when the alcohol is dissipated and all of the smell and the flavors fill your hands. You're going to cup your hands like this.
Cup your hands like this.
Be inside warehouse H in the center row.
Okay.
You've dissipated the alcohol. All the alcohol is gone. So what do we have is those beautiful notes.
Smells good. At first it smelled like rubbing alcohol, but I wasn't doing it right. So, that's fire. I like it. Different.
That's expensive hand sanitizer.
Expensive hand sanitizer.
In the same way that we just experienced that, feel free to add as much or as little water, as much or as little ice to your whiskey as you would like. Because really, truly, the way that we make American whiskey comes from the history of Irish and the Scotch that came to this area and taught us how to make whiskey. And think about your whiskey as a closed bloom, because once you put it on your tongue, what you're doing is you're actually mixing it together. So as we're tasting our whiskey, we're mixing our whiskey together with a little bit of water. And what that does is it opens up the flavor profile. So imagine your whiskey right now in your glass is a closed bud, a closed rosebud. You add a little bit of your saliva, a little bit of water into it. By the second sip, what you're doing is you're opening up all those aromas. Now you're going to be able to taste everything. Now you're going to be able to feel. And then next up, I think we've got the What do we have? Straight from the barrel?
Yeah.
Straight. Yep.
Well, this beautiful thing has been sitting here for a while. Let's dig into it. I don't gotta be that civilized. She said, pick it up by the tail, unstab it.
And then that sauce is good.
The sauce is pretty good.
And you can even squeeze the lemon if you want to.
Oh, that's a lemon. I didn't know that was a lemon.
I like bacon. It's good.
I love bacon and I love shrimp.
There you go.
Good work. Now, let's try with the bourbon. Ooh. Now, everybody knows that typical Blanton is not high proof. I think it's like 90 proof. It's 94 proof, I think she just said. With this food pairing, with the seafood and the bacon and the umami of the sauce, it's so good. I'm running behind a little bit because I've been listening to everybody talk and give a history about bourbon. So the next course is coming up soon. So it's time to catch up. All right, next course, next pairing. This is regular Blantons. This is straight from the barrel Blantons. Let's do a quick tasting between the both. Regular Blantons. Let's try it out. I mean, it's Blanton's. If you've never had Blanton's, then I think the closest thing you get to Blanton's is maybe Eagle Rare, possibly. Well, a Special Reserve. No, not a Weeder. I would say Eagle Rare would probably be a close comparison between Blanton's, regular Blanton's, and just like a comparison you can easily find. Now, straight from the barrel. As I've mentioned before in this video, I've never had straight from the barrel. Let's try it out. Yeah. Woo! Yeah. Now that's gonna put some hair in your chest, as they say. Oh, we have another announcement.
Our salad course is coming up, and what we have in front of us is the Blanton's straight from the barrel. This is our straight from the barrel that is in your glass right now. Each release of the straight from the barrel will be a different proof. Okay? Why? Does anybody want to raise their hand and guess why would each straight from the barrel release be a different proof?
It's a different barrel.
Bingo! It's a different barrel.
Gold star for me. I'm not cupping my hands with this 130 proof bottle. Believe it or not, I kind of like my nose hairs, but this 130 proof is fire. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not first time having it. I'll see the hype around it. Am I gonna spin when people are asking for it? That's a hard question to answer, honestly and truly, because I've had better uncut, unfiltereds. Stag I can find for around 200. For this, I see around close to 300. I would take the Stag Junior over the Blantons. But if you can find this bottle at a reasonable price, definitely pick it up. Let's talk about how this is supposed to pair with this. What? This is a serious bourbon drink, as my neighbor just said. It's supposed to pair with a salad. Let's try this out. All right, so we have this.
I mean, I'm not from
I got straight roots. That was like the worst bite ever. But let's try this again. All right, I have the bacon, no pecans. I have tomato. Let's try this bite. Much better bite. All the flavor. Believe it or not, the acidity from the tomato, sweetness from the pecans, the earthiness from the lettuce, and the cheese content, the fat from the cheese, cuts right through this bourbon. It cuts it down. It's so much more enjoyable. Give it a try. Don't count it out. All right, guys. So next we have Blanton's Gold. It's gonna be very hard to top the straight from the barrel because of the high proof, the flavor complexity. I love it. I love everything about it, honestly and truly. It's really good. All right, guys, we've got a lot of history and a lot of information about mash bill number 2 and Buffalo Trace, the distillery, all these different products. Now, this is our 4th expression of this mash bill. The first one we had the barrel aged Blanton's Manhattan. Then we have regular Blanton's, straight from the barrel. Now Blanton's Gold, and Blanton's Gold is paired with the pasta dish. So now this is a smoked ravioli stuffed with duck confit, onions, and ricotta, served with mushrooms. And oh my god, I was doing so good until that word. What is that? Velvote sauce? Whatever that word is. I can't pronounce it, but does it taste good? Let's find out. First, let's take a dry taste. Regular. Really good. But now, pour first. Ooh, so smooth, creamy. Just like I remember it. Let's try it. Okay, the bourbon is amazing, as you guys know. I just might not be a fan of duck confit. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. But the pairing together with the bourbon is great. The sauce is great. Mushrooms, I love mushrooms. Love spinach. Love ravioli. Duck confit, this might not be my palate. Nothing wrong with that. All right, guys. So this is the palate cleanser. I have my Blanton's 3P right here. Regular Blanton's right there. Straight from the barrel and gold. This is our palate cleanser before our main course, which is going to be the Wagyu tri-tip. Can't wait. Okay, mine is frozen. Alright guys, so now I have melted just a little bit. I saved you guys the hassle of watching me do it, but let's try it now. I'm a big Dippin' Dots fan. It tastes just like strawberry Dippin' Dots or raspberry Dippin' Dots. Love it. Love it. Wagyu's up next. Let's do it.
The final course with Rock Hill Farms. So if you haven't had a second, or you're maybe like, these Rock Hill Farms, maybe you're a collector, you're like, hey, I have a bottle of an open Rock Hill Farms in my collection. We're going to get to taste that with our final course of the evening. So for this, on to the main course, which I'm so thankful that we did this. Elmer T. Lee. Elmer T. Lee was the last master distiller before Buffalo Trace was essentially what it is today.
All right, guys. So unfortunately, the camera died. But with that, it's all good. The baby camera died. She's been enjoying watching me record with the camera. It's been fun. But we gotta finish our tasting. This is straight from the barrel. Let's get to it.
It's gonna be.
It honestly might be my favorite over the gold. And as you guys have seen in my other videos, camera's right there. You guys seen in my other videos, the gold is my favorite. The gold is so smooth. It's like, it reminds me of like Weller 107. Love it. And this is gold. Let's try it out. Ooh. I don't know. If I had to rank them in order from 1 to 3, number 1 for me, this is my personal preference, is Blanton's Gold. Number 2, straight from the barrel. And number 3, obviously, is just the regular blend you see on a daily basis, single barrel, that one. Now, let's try out this tri-tip with Elmer T. Alright, my wife is a big Gordon Ramsay next level chef fan. So that hashtag perfect bite, that's what we're going for right now. Let's try it out. All right, guys, it's perfect bite time. Let's give it a go. First bite. It's really good. Really good. Now, to get a perfect bite, let's have some bourbon with it and see the difference. Okay, 90 proof. Definitely tastes 90 proof. It's not one of those bourbons that is 90 proof but tastes like 100. It tastes the proof it is. It tastes 90.
Yeah, they were just kidding.
No. I get a lot of the nuttiness, the capers with the dish after the bourbon. Before the bourbon, you got a lot more of the potatoes and a lot more of the meat. The bourbon highlighted other aspects of the dish. Same exact bite, same exact dish, but different things. The features, the nuttiness, the capers, the carrot is highlighted with the bourbon versus without the bourbon. It's a lot more potato, a lot more Wagyu beef flavor. Excuse me. Now, I'm going to enjoy the rest of this dish because it's too good to pass up. Pairing your dishes with bourbon, it brings out some underlying flavors that you may otherwise pass over. So if you've never done it, you've never done a pairing, you have pairings in your area, you just now don't want to do it, please try a pairing because it is worth it. It's worth the money. Give it a try. All right, guys, we are down to our final course. This is going to be an apple pie butter pecan ice cream with Rock Hill Farms. Now, I have a bottle of Rock Hill Farms. I have not cracked it yet, but I'm excited to try it. Pretty good. The apple, ice cream, caramel, all works very well with the flavors of the Rock Hill Farms. Slowly moving its way to like a dessert bourbon for me. I'm trying with the dessert. Maybe I'm biased. I would love to try this with maybe like a steak or something like that to see if I can pair that with. But for me right now, it's going to be a dessert bourbon. If you have a different perspective, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. This was a really good meal. I love doing reviews like this. Please drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. You guys want to see more content like this? If you do, and please subscribe to my Patreon. Subscribe to my Discord. Let me know what other events are out there. And with that being said, I'm going to sign off. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.